there. So welcome to the discussion of Module 1, Lesson 6. This is solving problems involving quadratic equations. So from the title, parang ang hirap. Okay, so please bear with me in this video so that you can understand how is it to solve problems involving quadratic equations. Ready? Let's go. We will start with this activity. So translate into what do you think is this one? Alright, so use a variable to represent the unknown quantity, then write an equation from the given information. In other words, this is translating verbal sentences to mathematical symbols. Alright, so ready? The first one. The area of a concrete rectangular pathway is 350 square meters and its perimeter pathway is 90 meters. What is the length of the pathway? So how are we going to represent this problem with a certain equation? So let's start with the given. Of course, the given is area. So remember that area of rectangles is equal to length times width. Alright, and since the given there is 350 square meters, so we will substitute the area. Okay, for a while we will substitute the area here. Let me change my color first. The area here, this A, with the given 350. Okay, so it will become 350 equals length times width. Alright, so after that, let's move on with the next given. The next given is perimeter. Remember that perimeter is 2 times the length plus added with 2 times the width. So it's P equals 2L plus 2W. Now, since perimeter is given to be 90, so just like what we did with the area, we will substitute this P with 90. So it will become 90 equals 2L plus 2W. Now take a look at 90, 2, and 2. Okay, so whenever, remember that we need to reduce whenever necessary. So reducing this 90 equals 2L plus 2W is just dividing all by 2. So when we divide all by 2, the whole equation by 2, this will become 90 divided by 2 is 45. And then 2 divided by 2 is 1. So it will become 45 equals L plus W. Now, we've been talking about L and W, but we do not know yet what is this L and W. So of course we need to start with L should be the length of the pathway, and then W is the width of the pathway. Now it says here that the problem is asking for the problem is asking for the length of the pathway. In other words, we need to have a final answer in which a final equation, in which L is the present. So to do that, we will have the from this one here, from 45 equals L plus W, we will express W in terms of L, or in other words, we will just remain W and then transpose this L to the other side. So the equation would become 45 minus L equals W. Okay, how are we going to use this 45 minus L equals W? Saan natin gagamitin? Okay, let's go back to the area. If the area is 350 L plus W, so this L here will remain, and then this W shall be substituted with 45 minus L. In other words, the equation from 35 equals from 350. I was talking 35. Alright, I'm sorry. So from 350 equals LW, it will become 350 equals L, this L here. Okay, and the W is being substituted already with 45 minus L. Alright, so after which, let us erase them first. Okay, after which we can now create our equations. Now, to create our equations, since the problem is asking for the equation. Okay, the problem is asking for the equation. So, we will just evaluate or write this one here in standard form. Okay, so of course we need to multiply this first, this L times 45 minus L, and what's the product of that? Yes, it's 45L minus L squared. Now all we need to do now to finally have our equation is to write this in standard form. Although this one is already an equation, but we will just write it into the standard form to make it easier for us to work with answering this problem. Okay, so transposing negative L squared will become positive, 45L will become negative, and then add with 350 equals, this is now the final equation that we've been looking for. L squared minus 45L plus 350 equals 0. Okay, I know the process is quite confusing, complicated. That's why I prepared around 5 for this. Okay, so are you ready for the next one? Let's go. Another one, a rectangular lot has an area of 240 square meters. What is the width of the lot if it requires 64 meters of fencing materials to enclose it? Okay, again, we need to start with the given, and the given is area. So, area of a rectangle is still length times width. Now, the area this time is given to be 240. So, we will substitute A here in our formula for a while. We will substitute A here with 240. This one here. Okay, so it will become 240 equals length times width. Now, the other given is a fencing material. So when you fence your lot, it should be all around. So if it's a rectangle, then we are actually talking about when the problem is giving you a fencing material, then it's understood to be given as the perimeter of that rectangle. Alright, so the perimeter is 64. Just like what we did with the first problem, we will just substitute P with 64, so it will become 64 equals 2L plus 2W. 64 can still be divided by 2, or 64 equals 2L plus 2W is still reducible, so we'll reduce this by 2, and this will become 32 equals L plus W. Of course, we need to define our L and W now. So L is the length and W is the width. Now, the problem is asking for the width. Earlier, the problem is asking for the length. So here, since it's the width which is being asked, so we should come up with an equation ending with W. So therefore, baliktad siya kanina. So ngayon, L naman yung iwan natin, si W naman yung i-transpose natin sa kabila. Thereby, this one will become 32 minus W equals L. Okay? So, tanggalin muna natin yung sapaw. Okay, yan. Okay, so, now that we have this one, pwede na natin siyang i-substitute dito sa ating L. Yan. Substitute natin siya sa L. So, this area will be 240, tapos yung L maging 32 minus W. Yan. So, yung L, naging 32 minus W, that is coming from here. Okay? So, tapos, para magawa na natin yung equation na hinahanap, so, what we're going to do is just to simply multiply, then write this into the standard form. So, we are going to have 32 times W is 32W, and then negative W times W is W squared. So, meron na tayong 240 equals 32W minus W squared. All we need to do is just to transpose this negative W here, and then this 32 also to make it standard. So, negative W squared will become positive W, while 32W will become negative W. So, we will have W squared minus 32W plus 240 equals 0. And that is the equation that we've been looking for. Want some more? Let's have more. Here, the area of the garden is 160 square meters. Suppose the length of the garden is 3 meters more than twice its width. What is the length of the garden? Okay, this time, area is given, but no more perimeters. How are we going to create an equation out of this problem? Okay, so this is the so-called working backwards. But first, of course, we need to start with the area which is given. The area is 160 here. So we will substitute A with 160, so it will be, later we'll go into that. Let's have first the so-called working backwards. Why am I letting x here equal to the width? Okay, that's simply because we need a variable to represent our equation. And since we have here, suppose the length from this let's start with this statement here. Suppose the length of the garden is 3 meters more than twice its width. It's clear that width is the last dimension being mentioned. Okay? The last being mentioned, this is working backwards. So, if we work backwards, so we will start with the width. So, if we are going to let x with the width to find the length, then we will have x for a while, and then move backwards. So we have width, and then we have twice. Okay, so twice is of course times 2, so we'll have 2 here, so twice, and then more than. Alright, more than is plus. Okay, and then we have 3 meters. So, twice the width, and then 3 meters is what? The length of the garden. So, this is now our length. So, it's 2x plus 3. Now, let us check if our work is correct. Okay, so that is 2x plus 3. Let me erase it first para walang sapaw. Sandali lang. Okay, tanggalin natin yan. Oops, yan. Okay, so wala nang sapaw. Okay, so ngayon, meron na tayong length times length tsaka width. Diba yung area is length times width? So, pwede na natin gamitin yung length times width. So, substitute natin dito sa area na 160. So, from this formula, we have area. Substitution na tayo. Area is 160. Copy natin yung equal sign. Tapos, di ba yung length natin is 2x. Wait lang. Palitan ko lang siya. Yung length natin is 2x plus 3. So, yun na yung ilagay natin. And then, of course, we have the width, which is x. Here, finalo ko lang to. Okay, so area from the given 160. So, ayan na siya. Then, we have the equal, then the length, and of course, the width now. Okay, dito sa length times width. So, need natin siyang i-multiply here. So, it will be x times 2x and then x times 3. Okay, sige nga, multiply nyo nga while tinatanggal ko muna yung mga kalat. Ano yung sagot nyo? Is it 2x squared plus 3x? Yes, of course. Bakit? So, it's because pag nag-multiply tayo ng x times 2x, distribute lang. So, it's 2x squared. Tapos, 3 times x, it's 3x. So, meron na tayong 160 equals 2x squared plus 3x. Pwede na natin siyang i-write into the standard form. Sige. You can pause the video, write it in standard form. Ano yung sagot nyo? Okay. So, ito ba? 2x squared plus 3x minus 160 equals 0. Of course, pwede rin yung negative na. Diba sabi ko, pwede siyang negative. Kaya lang, kailangan, kung negative 2x squared gamit nyo, ganito yung sagot. Listen and look at your answer correctly, properly, carefully. Okay, so negative 2x squared, negative 3x, plus 160. So, palit-palit sila ng sign. Okay? Isa pa? Meron pa tayong isa. Okay, eto ngayon. Mario and Kenneth work in a car wash station. The time that Mario takes in washing a car alone is 20 minutes less than the time that Kenneth takes in washing the same car. So, work problem tayo dito. If both of them work together in washing the car, it will take them 90 minutes. How long will it take each of them to wash the car? Hindi na siya simpleng length times width or 2L plus 2W. Hindi na siya perimeter or area. Okay? So, ngayon, ito yung work problem. Remember nyo yung, ano ba yung mga sinagutan nyo? Yung problem ni Mary and Carol, and then yung problem about pipes. Okay, so these are actually work problems. So, kasi work problem siya, so more or less, you should know that pag work problem, dapat you should come up with rational algebraic equation. Okay? Of course, along the way, pag sinolve mo siya, you will come up with, it should be transformed into quadratic equation. Okay? Para kasali siya dun sa lesson natin. Alright, so gawin na natin to. So, working backwards ulit tayo. So, meron tayong last being mentioned is, wait lang, dito tayo sa the time that Mario, dito tayo sa statement na to. Kasi yung statement number 1, wala namang given na sinabi. The time that Mario takes in washing a car alone, hanapin natin yung last. So, Mario takes in washing a car alone is 20 minutes less than the time that Kenneth. Okay, si Kenneth yung last na mention. So, we will use a variable. So, overused na yung x, pero yun pa rin yung ginamit ko dito. Kaya, okay lang. So, let x to be Kenneth's time. Okay, kasi medyo, mahaba na yung the time that Kenneth will be using in finishing or in washing the car alone. So, Kenneth na lang. Kenneth's time, x. Tapos, backwards tayo, sabi, less than the time. Okay, so Kenneth's time, so it will be x. Tapos, less than, so minus 20 minutes. So, minus 20. And then, it will be Mario's time. So, meron tayong Mario. Oops, teka lang muna. Si Kenneth pala, kasi nga, di ba, work problem siya. So, kunin natin yung rate ni Kenneth. Wala naman tayo. Simple lang naman yung gagawin natin. Let's just put x below. Gawin natin denominator yung x. And syempre, laging 1 yan. Laging 1. Kasi isa lang naman si Kenneth. Okay? So, tapos, tingnan natin kung tama yung kay Mario na ginawa natin. Okay, so x minus 20, tama naman. So, tanggalin mo natin yung kalat para makaproceed tayo. Okay, ganun lang yung ginawa ha, work backwards. Okay, tapos kagaya ng ginawa natin dito sa kay Kenneth, lagay din natin sa ibaba yung kay Mario. So, ito na yung rate nila. So, di ba Mario is x minus 20. So, it will be 1 over x minus 20. Okay. Pagkatapos, sabi dito, proceed with the problem. Sabi dito is, if both of them, so pag silang dalawa yung nag-work, syempre, kailangan nating i-add yung rate ng bawat isa. So, meron tayong 1 over x plus 1 over x minus 20. I-add natin, ano ba yung time nila together? So, together daw, meron silang 90 minutes. So, si 90, of course, dahil nilagay natin sa baba si Ken, tsaka si Mario, yung time nila, so, nasa baba din siya. So, the final equation will be 1 over x plus 1 over x minus 20 equals 1 over 90. Yan na yan. Yan na yung gagamitin mo para makaproceed ka solving this problem. Of course, alam nyo na yan. Kung hindi pa, go back to the previous videos and nandun siya kung paano isolve. Kasi for now, translation lang muna tayo. Okay? Meron pa tayong isa. Hopefully. Okay? Tingnan natin. Wala na pala. So, dito na tayo. So, solving problems involving quadratic equations. Paano ba natin i-apply yung translation na sinabi ko para ma-solve na natin yung problem? Diba, in a certain problem, kailangan natin yung mga basic, yung prerequisite skills like solving quadratic, solving for the values of x. Yun yung pinaka-importante. Okay. Bakit yung nag-start doon? Kasi, kadalasan, usually, yung mga pagkakamali natin in solving problems is mali yung equation na nakuha natin. Okay? So, kailangan mag-start tayo doon. Kailangan tama yung equation natin kasi yung skills naman natin in solving problems, kaya na yan. Diba? Marami tayong methods, factoring, completing the square, quadratic formula. Marami na tayong na pagdaanan ng mga topics doon. Kaya na natin yun. Yun lang. Kailangan tama dapat yung equation na nabuo natin para we will arrive with the tamang solution. Okay? So, ito ngayon. Example, meron tayong problem. A rectangular table has an area of 27 square feet and a perimeter of 24 feet. What are the dimensions of the table? So, pag sinabing dimensions, of course, it is something to do with the length and the width of the table. Okay? So, magsimula tayo dun sa ginawa natin earlier. Translate muna natin yung problem. So, para makagawa tayo ng equation. So, unang sinabi is area. Okay? So, area is length times width. Yung area daw is 27. Saglit lang. Okay? Okay, ito. So, yung area daw, ito muna gamitin ko para pangmalakasan, is 27. So, palitan mo yung area mo dyan ng 27. Okay? Tapos, meron pa siyang perimeter na sinabi. So, kailangan mo na ulit si perimeter formula na 2L plus 2W. Then, ganun din. Palitan mo si P ng 24. So, yan. Dahil, kanina, diba kanina, pag kaya pang ma-divide into 2, dinivide natin. That is reducing whenever necessary. So, reducing equation whenever necessary. So, kaya naman. So, yung 24 magiging 12. Dinivide lang natin by 2. So, meron siyang 12 equals L plus W. Kasi ang sabi dito, what are the dimensions? So, hindi specific na what is the length or what is the width, hindi naman sinabi. So, pwede tayo kahit saan. Pwedeng L muna, L yung iwan natin, tapos si W yung isolve, o pwedeng W muna, tapos L na lang mamaya. Okay? Anyway, dimensions naman yung sinabi. So, kailangan nating hanapin silang dalawa. Okay? So, here, let L be the dimensions of the table. So, dahil ito yung sinabi ko, L. So, dapat we will come up with L na lang talaga. So, ibig sabihin, iwan natin si W and then transpose natin si L dito. Kasi L yung sabi, dimensions of the table. So, yun. So, 12 minus L na equals W. Kanina, pag meron na tayong ganito, proceed tayo with substitution here. So, yung W natin, palitan lang natin ng 12 minus L. Okay? So, meron tayong 27 equals L. Yung L yung pinakauna. Tapos yung W naging 12 minus L. Multiply natin sila. So, that's 12L minus L squared. Yun. Tapos, right into the standard form, meron na tayong L squared equals 12L plus 27 equals 2. Hindi tayo nagtatapos dito. Kanina dun sa, dun sa first activity natin, nag-end lang tayo kasi the activity is just to create an equation. So, dito kailangan na natin isolve yung problem. Ano ba yung L? So, balik na tayo dun sa equation na nabuo natin. So, L squared minus 12L plus 27. And then, let us solve for L. Yun lang yun. So, diba, kaya naman siyang i-factor out. So, factoring lang yung gamitin natin. Paki-check kung sakto ba yung mga factors na ginamit ko. Check natin, ha. So, yung last term natin is positive. So, dapat i-add natin yung result dito. So, negative 3L. 3 times L, is 3L. And then, wait, negative. Dito tayo nahihirapan. Okay. Then, L times negative 9, ito is negative 9L. Oops. Galing-galing. Ang pangit. Negative 3 plus negative 9. Negative 12 ba? Okay, of course, negative 12. Kaya ngayon, tanggalin na natin kasi makalat. Okay, so sakto na yung factor na ginamit natin, no? Okay na yan. Wait lang, tanggalin natin lahat. Okay, yan. Okay, so ngayon, of course, yung next step sa factoring is to separate each of the factors or to equate each of the factors to 0. So, yan. Yan na. Tapos, madali na lang. Transpose na lang natin si 3. And transpose na lang din natin si negative 9. So, meron na tayong dimensions na 3 and 9. Paano natin malalaman kung correct ba sila? So, tingnan natin. Pag sinabi nating area daw, 27 dapat. Di ba yung area, wait. Di ba yung area is length times width. So, multiply natin. 3 times 9. 27 ba? Of course, 27 siya. 3 times 9 is 27. So, correct tayo sa area. Pag sinabi nating perimeter, dapat 24. So, ano bang gagawin sa perimeter? I-add lang natin 3 plus 9, that's 12. Tapos, times 2, kasi may 2 naman dito sa dalawa. So, 12 times 2 is 24. So, yan. Correct na dimensions na yung nakuha natin. Problem solved. Diba? So, ano lang yung mahirap? Yung paggawa ng equation. Yun lang. So, kaya dun tayo nag-start kanina. Okay? Want more? Let's have more. Ito naman. An amusement park wants to place a new rectangular billboard to inform visitors of their new attractions. Diba sa park, usually maraming billboards. Now, suppose the length of the billboard to be placed is 4 meters longer than its width, and the area is 96 square meters. What will be the length and the width of the billboards? Dimensions pa din yung hinahanap. Pero, yung gagawin natin dito is we will start with this statement, suppose. Okay? Suppose the length of the billboard. So, yung last mentioned is width. Okay? So, with yung last being mentioned, so we're going to let x to be the width. Backwards tayo. So, x, the width, sandali lang, is 4 meters longer. So, 4 meters longer. Tapos, siya yung length. So, equals, ito yung length natin. Tingnan nga natin kung tama. Okay. Erase lang natin para makita natin kung sakto ba yung ginawa natin. X plus 4 yun. Okay. So, meron tayong length. Diba, length and width. Tapos, sabi dito is, the area is 96. So, area is length times width. Dahil meron na tayong length tsaka width, tapos meron din tayong given na area, substitute na lang tayo. So, for area, dapat merong 96. For the length, meron tayong x plus 4. Tapos, width is x. Okay? Multiply na lang tayo. So, x times, dito tayo magmumultiply. Ito. Okay, so x times x, tsaka 4 times x. So that will give us x squared plus 4x. Ngayon, write into the standard form. This is going to be x squared plus 4x minus 96 equals 0. So meron na tayong equation. From this equation, kaya naman natin siyang i-factor. Kaya ba? Tingnan natin kung kaya. Okay. So, check natin kung kaya nga. Kung sakto ba yung factors natin. Negative 8 times x is negative 8x. Sandali. Okay. Tapos, x times 12 is 12x. Okay. So, two unlike signs. Kailangan nating mag-subtract. Kasi nga, yung last term din natin is negative. Okay. 12 minus 8 is 4. Positive 4. So, kuha natin yung middle term. So, ibig sabihin, correct yung factors na ginamit natin. So, erase muna natin sila lahat para walang sapaw. Okay. So, pag meron ng factors, of course, proceed na with equating both factors to 0. And then, yung x minus 8 muna tayo. Doon muna tayo sa x minus 8. So, x minus 8 is 8, of course. Dito, tingnan natin dito, ha. Pag nag-transpose tayo ng positive 12 dito, what will it become? It will become negative 12. Negative 12. Class, if we're going to talk about length and the width or dimensions, any dimensions, wala tayong negative. Therefore, hindi natin gagamitin yung x equals negative 12. Or, discard na natin yan. Discard na natin yan kasi nga, bakit natin kailangan siyang i-discard? Kasi walang negative na sagot. Okay? Para sa measurement. Okay lang yan kung walang problem. Meron tayong problem dito. Realistic dapat. Okay? So, hindi siya pwedeng sagot sa problem natin. So, ibig sabihin, yung x natin is just 8. Okay? So, yung width natin, ito na yung width natin. Kunin na lang natin yung length. Anong gagawin? Mag-add lang naman tayo ng 4. Babalik din si 12, pero positive na this time, di ba? Okay, so we're going to have the width is 8, and then 8 plus 4, 12 is the length. Yun, problem solved, di ba? Okay. Meron pa tayong isa. Okay? Isa parang Sa second slide, same problem, tapos meron pang continuation na question. Okay, ito. A projectile that is fired vertically into the air with an initial velocity of 120 feet per second can be modeled by the equation S equals 120t minus 16t squared. Okay, so hindi natin problema ngayon ang paggawa ng equation kasi given na siya. Ito yung mga gusto ko sa mga problems ng quadratic minsan. Given na yung equation, so no need to create equation. In this equation, S is the distance in feet. So, S pala yung distance of the projectile above the ground after t seconds. So, yung t, ibig sabihin siya yung time. How long will it take for a projectile to reach 216 feet? Alright. So, ngayon, yung given natin na equation is S equals 120t minus 16t squared. Ngayon, yung S dito is the distance. So, meron tayong given na 216 feet. So, substitute natin siya dito sa S. Substitute natin siya sa S. So, meron na tayong 216 equals 120t minus 16 squared. Ngayon, dahil tinatanong tayo kung how long, ito yung tinatanong sa atin. So, ibig sabihin, it's the value of t na kung saan, yung time, na kung saan yung projectile is nasa 216 na distance. Okay? So, very easy. What are we going to do here? To solve for t, yun din, factoring, quadratic formula, or any method na gusto mong gamitin. Okay? Pero you have to start making this equation into the standard form. So, the standard form of this is, of course, 16t squared minus 120t plus 216 equals 0 na kaya naman nating i-reduce. Reducible siya. Divisible siya by 4. So, yung divide mo lahat by 4, yung A, B, tsaka C. And you will come up with 4t squared minus 30t plus 54. Okay? Okay. So, kaya pa rin siyang i-factor out. Pero kung kayo na ang magsasolve, of course, pwede kayong gumamit ng kahit na anong method. Okay na yon. Okay? So, here, by factoring, ito yung factors ko. Pwede nyong i-check. Baka mali naman. Pero, yan yung factors. Pero, check na lang natin para sigurado. Okay, 9 times 2 is 18. That's negative 18 actually. So, that's negative 18. Ang hirap ng 8t. Ito naman, 2 times 6 is 12. So, that's negative 12t. Okay. Tapos, pag nag-add tayo sa 18 tsaka 12, kasi pareho sila, that will be equal to negative 30. So, tama naman yung factors. Okay? So, dahil tama yung factors, class, proceed na tayo with equating each factor to 0. So, magiging, yan. Tapos, transpose natin yung 9. Dito muna tayo mag-work out sa 2t minus 9. Dito muna tayo sa 2t minus 9. Transpose natin yung 9, maging positive na siya. Dahil meron pa tayong 2 sa gilid ng t, so of course, we need to divide both by 2. So, meron tayong 9 over 2, tapos nasa real life problem tayo. So, yung 9 over 2, change natin into decimal. So, meron tayong 4.5 seconds. Okay? So, at 4.5 seconds, so si projectile is nasa 216. Okay? Yung distance niya is 216. Gawin naman natin tong dito sa isa pang factor, itong 2t minus 6. Okay? So, ganun din. Transpose. Positive na siya. Divide both by 2. So, meron tayong 6 over 2. That is equal to 3. Okay? 3 seconds. So, bakit dalawa yung time? Eh, di ba pag nag-fire ka, ganito yan. Pag angat niya, gaganon pa yan. O, di ba? Parang bouncing ball. Ganun yun. So, yun. Kaya meron tayong dalawang sagot. So, meron tayong 4.5 seconds, nasa 216 siya, or at 3 seconds, nasa 216 feet pa din siya. Okay? Wala tayong pwedeng ang tawag dyan, i-discard kasi puro naman sila positive. Okay? So, meron pa siyang continuation. Are you ready? Eto na yung continuation niya. So, yun pa rin. Tingnan nyo yung given, yung formula ganun pa din. Pero kung pansinin nyo, yung last question natin is iba na. Is it possible for the projectile to reach 900 feet? Okay. So, this time, yung S naman natin dito is palitan natin ng 900. Okay? So, meron tayong 900. Ganon din yung gawin natin para makabuo tayo ng standard form. So, standard form muna, 16t squared. And then, divisible din ba to? Tingnan natin. Okay, divisible din siya by 4. So, meron tayong 4t squared minus 30t plus 225 equals 0. Now, unlike kanina, kailangan natin i-solve yung time. Okay? Ngayon kasi, ang sabi lang niya is it possible for the projectile to reach the ground? So, pwede nating wag hanapin yung value ng t. Ang gawin lang natin is, gamitin natin yung nature, yung discriminant of the roots na b squared minus 4ac. So, from that equation, the reduced equation, gamitin lang natin yung discriminant formula na b squared minus 4ac. Kapag nag-come up tayo ng real root, real, possible. So, pwede nating sabihin na possible kasi real. Okay? Tingnan mo natin yung sagot. Of course, before natin gamitin tong b squared minus 4ac, kailangan natin yung values ng a, b, c. Ano ba yung mga values nila? Sige nga. Okay, ito ba yung sagot nyo? 4, negative 30, and 225. Okay, respectively yan. Substitute na tayo. So, yan. Check mo na kung sakto ba yung substitution na ginawa ko. Baka mali. So, B becomes negative 30, A becomes 4, C becomes 225. Evaluate, so 30 squared is 900. Negative 4 times 4 times 225. Paki-check nyo. Is it 3,600? Baka mali ako. So, paki-check lang. And then, 900 minus 3,600 is definitely negative 2,700. Balikan nyo yung discriminant natin. Yung nature nito is actually no real root or undefined. Kasi negative siya. Ngayon, kaya nyo nang sagutin? Is it possible for the projectile to reach 900 feet? Of course not. The projectile will not reach 900 feet. Bakit? Kasi pag sinolve mo siya, undefined. Diba? Okay. Ayun. Naintindihan nyo naman yung explanation. Pag hindi, pwede kayong bumalik dun sa video, balik-balikan nyo lang, or hanap kayo ng ibang video na mas okay yung pagka-discuss. Okay? Para magawa nyo tong work na to. Okay? Synchronous activity is group work. So, find those missing. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4 for you to work out. Okay? So, I hope masagot nyo ng tama yung 4 na problems na yan. Okay? Thank you for watching this video. Bye-bye!